You know, Joy and I can't be fans. I mean, we grew up in certain areas. She, Pittsburgh, me, the Pacific Northwest. So I have a soft spot, sort of. I went to college in Cheney, Washington, and the Seattle Seahawks used to train there. And I would watch Steve Largent, my all-time favorite player when I was young, and Jim Zorn and Sherman Smith and Dan Dornick. And I knew Eugene Robinson at Colgate, first year rookie at Cheney, and you didn't know who he was, and I knew he was going to be a star, and I missed those days, and I loved those days. But I've got to be honest about my Seattle football franchise. They're not good. They're not particularly well coached. And they are duct taped together by a Hall of Fame level quarterback, Russell Wilson. Not everybody ages the same. My wife often says this to me, honey, please stay current. Don't get outdated. Seattle and Pete Carroll at 70 does not feel current. Defensively, the schemes feel outdated. Analytic people have been making fun of the Seahawks offense for years. Pete Carroll is 70, and unlike Nick Saban or Andy Reid, he is now starting to feel outdated. Pete, go on TikTok, Snapchat, IG. You feel old, and your team looks old. I am not a backseat driver. I have been on this for 2 years. The Jamal Adams trade felt desperate. It felt like an older coach trying to win that year. I like Jamal. 2 first-rounders, a third, and a player. For a safety, not even Ed Reed probably worth that. Seattle is soft. They're noisy. They're mistake-prone. They're a shell of themselves, and Russell Wilson should not tolerate this. I like Pete, and I know Pete. But he had been fired twice in the NFL and had a losing record in Seattle, and Russell Wilson is why he's going to get a gold jacket. And right now, Russell is carrying a franchise that's about ready to implode. They're not a good football team. They do not look current. They are on pace to give up the most yards in a season in the Super Bowl era, and the score last night doesn't tell the story. It was not really 26-17. Matt Stafford was awful in the first half. The Rams were terrible, but like everybody against the Hawks, the Rams dominated the second half. They're just too desperate recently. They give away draft picks like dentists give away floss. Everything's about now because Pete's older, and since Paul Allen passed away, he's taken total control of the franchise. I don't like their drafts. They've whiffed on several first-round picks. I mean, whiffed. Rashad Penny, I said it the day they picked him. I had other GMs laughing at that pick. I don't like this franchise right now. Got to come to terms with it. They're not well coached. They're not well run. They feel outdated. They're noisy in the offseason. They're mistake-prone, and Pete has an engaging personality, but he has always run very hot with players. New England, he did it with the Jets, he did it with USC, and then he leaves and there's scar tissue, and it's tearing away at the fabric of this franchise. They're loose, they're a hot mess at times, they're defensively major gaps. I mean, they're not competitive now. If you start looking around that division, that defense is not going to be able to come close to contain Arizona and the Rams. They couldn't beat him at home. I mean, if it wasn't really for Matt Stafford's egregiously bad interception, this thing could have been far worse. All right, let's shift gears. We don't want to talk all about the losing team. I'd like to talk about a city of winners, Los Angeles. I can't remember the last time we lost a game in any sport. Anywho, in any relationship, don't give up too much of yourself. You women out there, creative, thoughtful, funny, the very thing he was attracted to, he's now trying to suppress. Don't let him. And you girls out there, he was always home a little late, likes to have a good time. Let him put on his party hat once in a while. In any relationship, don't give up too much of yourself. I think Sean McVay has given up too much of himself with Matt Stafford. Now, outside of Detroit, nobody really watched Stafford for the last 13 years. He was, if you didn't notice, on those 1 o'clock games, probably losing to, I don't know, Minnesota, Green Bay, everybody. And so here's what Matt Stafford is. Let's put some context to it. He's very talented. He's not a tier 1 quarterback. He's not as dynamic as Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Russell Wilson or Kyler or Aaron Rodgers. Stop. He's not. He's not that kind of athlete. He's talented. And he's way, way, way up in the tier 2. He could be the number 1 tier 2 quarterback. Him and, you name it. He's not a 1. Trust your eyes. He's got a good arm. It's not Mahomes. It's not Josh Allen. Good athlete. It's not special. 13 years, some injuries, good arm, mostly accurate. But last night, horrible rookie mistake in the red zone on a pick. Missed several open receivers. He's a very, very strong, solid, upper tier 2 quarterback. Vegas, as we told you earlier, did not alter the line dramatically. They were a 5-win team with Stafford as a Lion quarterback. He left. Goff entered. They were still a 5-win team in Vegas. Rams were a 10-win team with Goff in Vegas. The trade happened. They were 10.5. Vegas cares about one thing: lettuce. Matt Stafford is better than Jared Goff. But we have to contextualize Stafford speak. He's very good and very talented. He ain't Kyler Murray. Not what I see. Not Russell. Not Aaron. Not Mahomes. Not Lamar. He's not. So Sean McVay, and this is what happens in relationships. You fall in love. You give up all of yourself. He is perfect. She is perfect. I love her smoker's cough. You'll get irritated. It just takes time. Last year, the Rams had the second most play-action passes in the NFL. They were clever and unique, and they were just always moving areas and fooling people. Now they have the second least. They're kind of boring. Pedestrian. I like Matt Stafford, but he needs some clever too. McVay, to cover up Goff's flaws, had the most unique-looking, clever play-action, misdirection. It was a blast to watch. They didn't even really look like anybody else. He gets Stafford, who was clearly better, and now they do more dropbacks than all but one team in the league. Sean, you've given up too much of yourself, too much of your wizardry. You're very smart. Use it. You're very clever. Be it. McVay, in this honeymoon period, has just given up all the tricks and the fun and the misdirection. First of all, Matt Stafford deserves that too. And he's good, and you can score a lot of points with Matt Stafford. But, I mean, if you're a magician, don't give up on all the magic tricks. I watch the Rams right now. They are 20th. Think about this. 20th in the NFL in plays per drive. Now, think about that. That's like bad teams are down there. 20th in plays per drive. That's with Sean McVay, a top 5 offensive coach, with an excellent offensive line, a capable running game, and an outstanding wide receiver tight end group. That's not acceptable. That's like Jared Goff with a better arm. Be careful about giving too much up of yourself. I mean, every time they have McVay and Stafford, I saw it again last night on the sideline next to each other. It's googly eyes. Oh, what are you doing this weekend? Well, I don't know. What are you doing? Want to get coffee? Mochaccino? Sean, you're brilliant. Go back to being brilliant. Stafford's talented, but he's not Mahomes. Stop the googly eyes. Go back to being more of yourself. When the Rams are at their best, they don't look like everybody else. That's the brilliance of McVay. When they came into this league, it was like everything was moving. And you can't go from second most play action passes to second least. You can go from second most to 13th, 9th. But Stafford deserves some of your brilliance, too. Allow him to see it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.